cover the doorway. As they start to defuse, Pengu goes for one on the Young. Can he go the second?
Min, what are you doing? What just happened? Why are you sprinting, Bio?
Hungry, he gets the angry!
Oh, he's
Moringa, are you ready for this?
Oh!
Yes! Pengu, are you kidding me?
Why am I so much better than you? God damn!
Hello everyone, I'm SiegeGG. Hello and welcome back everybody, ladies and gentlemen, Rainbow Six Siege fans. I'm SiegeGG and with me is the one and only David, and we're here with another episode of SiegeGG Live, and it's been a lots of things have happened in the past week over here, and you know, some of them related to the wider Rainbow Six game, but mostly the big things that have happened in the esports is that BR6 and NAL have come to an end. So David, you want to take us through what's happened in the wider Rainbow Six things before we get into it with the esports stuff?
Yes, sure. First of all, I think that we have to mention the roadmap changes. So at the beginning of the current season, so we are, I guess that you remember, but we are in Season 2. At the beginning of Season 2, we were told, Ubisoft commented that there were no, the plans about a new map for Season 3 were cancelled. And they just said no map. We don't think it's going to be ready, so no map. Now it seems that there's going to be a map added to the competitive pool, which is great news, I guess.
Yeah, but apparently when they said comp, I believe they meant like it's a competitive map, aka not a casual map, aka a ranked / unranked map. So it's not like it's gonna come in and replace, like, I don't know, Skyscraper or something.
No, and it wouldn't make a lot of sense because we already have 9 maps.
Mm-hmm.
So having a 10th, I'm not sure if that would be a good idea. And we also have to discuss briefly what map can Ubisoft be talking about, because it's a map that we have already seen. And it's a map that was part of an event that players have already, played. If you think about events in Rainbow Six, you think about Rainbow Six is Magic, or I don't remember the exact name, but the one with the airplane and everything. We are not going to see that in Ranked. It's impossible. We have seen adaptations of towers, Skyscraper, even Bartlett University, I guess. Yeah.
No, but that's not been a special
other map
event unless they count Article 5.
Yeah, exactly. So the only, sorry.
Unless they count Article 5 as a special event, then yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, no, it's not, because you can play it now. Well, but the only realistic option in the cards is the map that we use for SI.
Yeah.
That map that is open for 3 weeks and you can play there, which is very similar to Oregon.
It's like Oregon
I think it's an adaptation of Oregon.
Or it is, I believe the combinations are Oregon and Border, or Oregon and Coastline, if I remember correctly. They basically take those two
Oregon
and
and
Coastline
make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Oregon is almost the same. There is no basement, but the open, the kids area and all of that second floor stuff is almost the same. So yeah, it's not going to be a map I don't know, Emerald Plains, where you are going to ban it every time because you don't like it or whatever. On a side note, please don't ban new maps. Let's play other things. Then if you feel like you don't like it, then that's okay. But well,
I mean,
don't
the
ban
thing is,
new things.
if it is one of the Road to SI maps, like the exact wholesale ones, then I think we might not see bans. I think that's the one situation where we might not see bans, because people, first of all, they know Oregon, Border, and Coastline, and second of all, they've literally played these maps in the Road to SI playlist. Although I assume they're gonna change up the visuals and make it look cooler and nicer rather than just the whole stadium situation that exists. Yeah.
I think it's really cool, honestly. Like I love this stadium map. It feels like you have already played it in the past, because you know it's an adaptation of other maps. So yeah. So we also have other changes. Finca is going to be well, not nerfed but tweaked in next stage. Wait a second. Okay, my computer did something really weird now. Okay, and they are going to change the Finca's LMG, so they are going to like nerf it for or something. We have seen. I'm not sure if you have seen it, but there are already some comparisons of the current recoil and the next recoil for
The
LMGs.
leaks. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, the leaks. Yeah, and it's if that's happening, forget about playing LMGs.
Yes.
I have already started playing the other gun, which I don't remember the exact
Spear.
name, just because I don't want like the change to be like super hard, difficult. So yeah, just an advice for, you know, if you are think a main, just start thinking about, you know, giving a try to the other gun. Which is a really good change because I hate the LMG. Like, you know, just boost yourself and then the LMG. No, we don't like that.
Even Zof can do it, and like it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
pretty,
exactly.
pretty ridiculous for like the brief time that like Withstand was still
Mhm.
there, and the Zof could just like run in and just kill a bunch of people. Even if it gets down, she gets back up.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know. But yeah, I guess
For Sophia is going to be a very impactful change because the other gun she has
is not great.
Is horrible.
It's not
Like,
great at all. Yeah.
It's not great at all. I love how you like you just, you know, say some more like not hard words, but I just say it how it is. It's horrible. The gun is horrible. It's a mess. Don't play that.
Yeah,
But
it does
yeah.
weird things.
Yeah. It's. I guess they are going to buff that because if not, it doesn't make a lot of change. Sophia is going to be unplayable. We could see Ash returning to the meta. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. And we also have some delayed features. Ranked 2.0 is going to be released on like season 4, so it means that Ranked 2.0 is going to be released. When is like season 4? It's November. December maybe. December
Yeah,
maybe.
so
No.
season 3 is coming
December.
after the major, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
Sometime
December.
September will be season 3, so yeah, December will
Mhm.
be the one, yeah, just before
Yeah.
like the SI qualifiers.
Yeah, that also affects the reputation score and the reputation system, which is
Yeah.
moving from season 3 to season 4. Which also means like the positive of like delayed features is that they are going to be like all of them they are going to be for season 4. So season 4 is going to be another season full of new content. Season 4 crossplay and cross progression should be happening as things stand now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it might be delayed. You never know. Okay.
What is really cool is that we're getting the cheater reports
Yeah.
in year 7 season 3. So in season 3, once this major is over, cheat reports from the replays. So you can only send them in game, but like, you know, after when you're watching the replay, you're like, oh shit, this guy's really sus.
Yes.
He's tracking me through walls. Now you can send that through the match replays, which is
That's really cool.
absolutely
Honestly, that's
fantastic.
really cool.
Yeah, but of course, it still work for people. So we'll see how much of a dent it really makes in like the cheater population eventually. The final thing is EMP grenades, right? The mini EMP
Yes,
grenades
true.
that they talked
I forgot
about.
that.
I don't know when they talked about, but we knew of we had known of these EMP grenades from one of the SIs. I think
maybe.
I think SI 20.
SI.
Yeah,
20.
like
Not like this year's SI, I think.
is it? I'm not
think
sure
so.
because I remember knowing of these EMPs for like ages and
Yeah, maybe leaks.
No, not leaks. It was official. They like said we're gonna be adding, so that I think the Thatcher reliance or like Thatcher presence gets reduced. a little bit, and like because Kali was clearly not working, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, it was like, what's going on, yada yada yada, and then they showed this. We'll see whether those what shape or form, because clearly it's been a while since they conceived of the idea, so we'll see what the EMPs actually really look like at this point. Question from the chat, Kenneth66 says, do you guys think streamer modes helps cheaters? I'm not too sure, actually. David, you might be more familiar with this.
Can you repeat the question? Because
he asked, like, do you think streamer mode helps cheaters?
If streamer mode helps cheaters?
Yeah,
okay,
like
I understand the question now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, that's something that I thought about it when they released it. Yeah, I guess yes, because you can like hide your name, which makes it difficult to track a player, I guess. I honestly don't really know a lot about the meta, so I cannot provide a very solid answer to that question. But I guess that yes, it makes it a bit difficult, obviously, to report, because you need the username and everything. So it's obviously a little bit more difficult for sure.
Yeah. Also, you're right. We're right on the EMP grenades. I just went back, and it was announced at SI 2022, where they talked about the new EMP grenades that a bunch of secondary gadgets are going to be replacing for a few operators. So yeah, it was scheduled to be sometime in year 7, and now it's coming in season 3. Yeah, so card is right in chat. So the real names are in the replay file. Up until now, it's been an issue because like a cheater could activate streamer mode and you have like no idea who the hell he is.
Okay, cool.
But now with cheat reports, with cheat reports, it makes it possible for you to go back into the replay, look at the replay, and then still report it with a real name, which I think might not have been possible the previous time
wasn't.
around. Yeah. So
yeah.
I guess. Well, let's move on with. I think that's pretty much the general wider.
Yeah, honestly, like there's
wider news. Yeah.
Much of it.
So it's time to get into the esports stuff that we've seen in week 5. Yeah, lots of stuff happened. APAC's not over yet. EU's not over yet. NAL and BR6 are over. But we got a lot of things to talk about. So as per usual, we're going to start with APAC. And over in APAC North, is anyone really surprised what's happened? Damwon and Sandbox both won their games. They are still looking like front runners. They were predicted to be front runners at the start of the stage. Even when you were like listening to the desk on APAC North, they were saying the same thing, like, is anyone really surprised? At the start of the stage, we were like, these 2 Berlin spots are going to be contested by Damwon, Sandbox, Cyclops. Cyclops are kind of dropping the ball. They have dropped the ball a little bit. They can still pick it up and still qualify. But Damwon and Sandbox win again, and just it's not surprising at all to me. The only thing that is a little bit surprising is that Sandbox are actually in second place with 14 points, just 1 behind Damwon, but they have looked a little bit shakier than Damwon. If you look at their games, for example, they won 8-7 against SiegeGG, it was 7-5 against Reject, 7-5 against Spear as well. The only team that they really beat convincingly was like Fnatic, 7-3. I don't know, David, like they probably are going to go to Berlin, but it feels like they're still figuring out what's going on with this roster, which, in my opinion, opens them up to a potential, challenge from Cyclops, if Cyclops get a point from Damwon.
Yeah, exactly. So here in APAC North at least, I'm not sure even if it's the same in APAC South. I guess it's the same.
It is.
Here, yes. Okay, so head-to-head difference is the first tiebreaker point. So basically, it means that Sandbox has already done the job here
Against
if Damwon
Cyclops,
here, if Damwon Kia wins against Cyclops
In
next week,
regulation, yeah.
that's going to confirm Damwon Kia's and Sandbox Gaming spots for Berlin,
Yeah.
which is that's going to be really good for Korea, because that means that Korea is going to be to have two Korean representatives in Berlin, which also means that Cyclops is not going to attend. And did Cyclops attend the Charlotte Major? I don't think so.
No, they didn't. They
Or they
missed
did.
out.
They didn't.
Um,
Okay, they
wait.
missed it out. Or
It
I
was-
think I'm wrong, honestly.
Yeah. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Cyclops attend. They're the only APAC North team to attend. Your Cyclops, Chiefs,
Okay,
Elevate
cool.
Direwolves, yeah. And Elevate didn't
true,
make
yeah.
it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, right. So exactly. About Sandbox Gaming performances, I think definitely they have been shaky, as you said. The wins haven't been as convincing as Damwon's, and they have had like a very similar schedule. They have won 7-5 against Reject. They have won 7-5 against Spear Gaming, which doesn't say
The
it's
7-5
not a really
against
good
Spear
result, honestly.
is the problem. That is the result that you look
Yeah.
at, zoom in on, you're like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be getting pushed to round 12.
Yeah.
Which is the same issue that
Exactly.
we had with CAG on the first week as well, by the way. CAG also, same thing. So like, and it's quite obvious, and it seems quite literal. Like, these Sandbox and Cyclops kind of feel like they're on the same level. Sandbox 8-7 against CAG. They bet 1 round separated the two. Both of them struggled past Spear Gaming. The only difference is Cyclops made a massive mistake by dropping points against
Yeah.
Fnatic.
Yeah.
So Cyclops made the mistake, not Sandbox. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, when you have 3 contestants for 2 spots, every point that you drop against those 2 opponents of yours, these are very important points. So only losing against Sandbox, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Cyclops are going to play against Damwon Kia. If they win against Damwon Kia, they're going to be with 14 points, let's say regulation victory. And then the following week, Sandbox is facing Damwon. So Cyclops stage
Yeah.
is going to be decided in one best of one. Okay, so that game is going to be huge, because we know the difference that makes finishing in 3rd or finishing among the best 2. Like, the 6 invitational points here can make a huge difference at the end of the year. But
alternatively, I mean, it's not a problem if Sandbox win against Talon tomorrow, which is looking very likely. Talon look like they have been in a tailspin. They got smashed 7-4 by Damwon, then they got smashed 7-4 by Reject, then they lost 7-3 against Cyclops. Like, they kind of I don't want to say so this week against Cyclops actually looked pretty good. Now, I can't really tell whether it's because they could just run their train over Talon, because the thing is, Cyclops in that matchup were doing Cyclops things. They weren't doing anything different. They weren't like elevating their experience. They weren't like transforming their strategy. It was very much a Cyclops performance against Talon. It got them a 7-3 victory, but then like you look at Talon and you look at the past results, they beat Spear and they beat Fav, and they barely beat Fav, like he was in overtime. So really, the initial boost that we thought Talon got with Marble and Misa, it looked like, yes, these guys are performing. But then, as we saw in Apex South, David, you noted this especially with Wildcard. Sure, they beat the lower ranked teams, but the moment they started coming up against the top tier teams, they just completely snapped like a toothpick.
Yeah.
And that's looking like what's happening to Talon. Like, their run is Sandbox next, and then Fnatic. And Fnatic too, by the way, are looking a little bit stronger.
Better.
Yeah. Which is I guess kind of the next point that I want to lead into. Like, the top 2 spots, by the way, we're just gonna wrap this up really quickly, because is really, there's barely any chance of Cyclops making it. It's very likely going to be Damwon and Sandbox in that order. So the final thing that you kind of really want to look at in terms of teams here is Fnatic. Fnatic have looked markedly improved since Dizzle and Mag have made it to Japan, and I think Phenomenon is not in Japan yet. No. But it seems like Mag just being on the ground has helped translate the ideas a little bit. They looked pretty good against CAG, and they looked bad against Sandbox again. But then they destroyed Spear Gaming very convincingly. Spear was only beaten the same margin against Damwon and 7-2 against Talon. So the 7-3 for Fnatic is a pretty good thing. So Fnatic seem to be improving. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, what do you think, looking at it? The whole concept is like they're trying to bring the European playstyle, right, to Japan?
Yeah, they are trying to, but as we mentioned in other podcasts, it's very difficult to play European playstyle against APAC teams. It's something that it's very difficult, especially when you're playing against them like in your league, in your regional league. Teams always struggle at doing that. Is it going to work? Maybe. I think that having Mag and Diesel there is something that's going to boost the team. And maybe, who knows, Mag is going to play in stage 3. It's something that we cannot confirm or as of now. Might happen. Maybe it's not happening. But I mean, the logical thing is thinking that it's gonna happen. But Fnatic has been improving, and yeah, this week's result has been very important for them. They have, they are not in relegation zone anymore, and they are facing Fab Gaming next week. So that's going to be like huge, because Fab Gaming is now in the relegation
fight, yeah. Fnatic exactly, 4 points clear of Fab right now, which is big.
I think 3 points clear.
4 points, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, you're talking about the stage 2 standing.
Oh yeah, stage 2. Yeah. Overall, it's 3 points. You're correct.
It's 3. Yeah. So a victory against Fab would like make a huge difference. Yeah, they are improving for sure, and yeah, I think that they are on the right track. Will we see them in international competitions anytime soon? That's another question, and I don't think as of now that's gonna happen. Yeah, that would be like really optimistic, and that's the level is not there yet, but they are on the right track for sure. The improvement is there, and they have time. They have the whole third stage to like work on it, and who knows, maybe we see them in the November major.
Yeah, maybe, potentially. But, things are like going to the major in APAC. Apparently, as we discovered very suddenly this week, they, as David said earlier just now, so APAC's apparently having the first tiebreaker as head-to-head, not round difference, which is very, very odd. This is like a ninja change that was kind of snuck through. And it's kind of frustrating as, being someone who covers the APAC League and like all this stuff. Like for us, it's quite frustrating. And if you're a fan, we are fans too, by the way. But if you're like just
we are.
A fan,
everyone is a fan. Yeah. Every writer is a fan.
The thing is, if you're just watching and you're watching the games, and then as we publish the article, that round difference in 2022 in the global rulebook, it specifically states in the in international competitions and in all regional leagues, round difference is going to be the first one. That's going to be the first tiebreaker. But in APAC, they're like, okay, we're going to release like a sneaky update. Mag is going to be playing stage 3. We know that bit. But about this thing, like APAC's apparently running the tiebreaker as head-to-head, which is like absolutely baffling to me. Why they would make this change without confirming. Like ESL, after the whole ping drama, was like, we're gonna communicate better, and they don't
Better.
communicate this.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
So
I don't
it's quite
think-
annoying that they have made this change.
Yeah.
This rulebook, this Apex specific rulebook, so it was not is not showcased anywhere. There's no links to it, and this is like on the 2021 rulebook, which is now not available publicly unless you use the Wayback Machine. Very frustrating situation. So you have effectively you have no idea what the rules are. And if you guys remember this conversation when Hunter was with SiegeGG, we had the same conversation, and as Haler noted in his article, we had the same conversation about BDS. We had the whole the issue with like the rehost. If you remember, we all were like arguing back and forth, and then we realized, hey, no, the BDS didn't cheat. The admins didn't mess up. This is just like a ninja change to the rules that happened. That caused so much like drama, consternation, confusion. That would have been simply avoided if they just tweeted it out. Like, okay, EUL is making these changes, or the global rulebook is making these changes. There is just no point to hide it. Very weird situation. But yeah, I mean this is pretty much a rant. There's nothing more to discuss about this.
Yeah, no, not really.
Just
Apex things.
Yeah, and then the question then is, why is APAC different? Like, why is APAC being this unique snowflake that's doing head-to-head while every other league's doing round differential?
Yeah, when this happens, when a league works another way than like the other leagues, then you have like lots of questions, because if you all use this format for let's say North America, where we had like three-way ties, or I don't remember the exact standings now, the standings would be so different, and that maybe it affects the teams that they are not going to the major, to Berlin, but it's going to affect the order of the mid-table standings, and that affects the distribution of the 6 invitational points. So maybe you see this as, okay, they are working a different way. There's no point on thinking about it. No. Oh no, there's a point.
You're kind of you're kind of having a bad time.
Every league should work the same, because if that doesn't happen, maybe other teams can get an advantage. Yeah, really? Oh.
Yeah, what? Sorry, you.
Does it work now?
Yeah.
You okay. Well, I was. Am I lagging now?
Yeah. Just give it a sec. I think you'll be fine. Yeah, you're good. We're back.
Okay, I'm good. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for that. I don't know what happened. So yeah, I was saying, I don't know where did it interrupted, but yeah, I think that every league should work the same, because if not, then it's not unfair for teams that, for example, from North America, who are going to have the same number of points, but will be in 5th or in 8th, because how the head-to-head or the tiebreaker rule works. I think that maybe that it affects TSM and Space Station Gaming or other squads that it's not fair. That's the main point.
Yeah. So just weird. Yeah, I don't understand. Just the communication's still been lacking. And as for the question from Kenneth66 about which tiebreaker is the best, in my opinion, I think with BO1s, there's obviously a set of pros and cons, right? Which we're going to discuss later on with the NAL.
No. It's head to head. No.
No, we're going to discuss, because there are pros and cons, and there's a reason why a lot of people think that head-to-head offers a better perspective in terms of which teams are better, and some people believe that it's better if you can do it over the course of a season. We're going to explore that a little bit, because in NAL, as David said, that was kind of a big thing, so stick around for that when we get to the discussion on on which tiebreaker rule is kind of better. But whatever the case is, to sum this up, just make it consistent. Stop making APAC deviate from like the rest. Just simple.
I think that round differential is a dumb way to is a dumb way to
I mean, there's like
separate
there's
teams.
there's good and bad, and we'll talk about it, David. I know you really want to
Okay.
talk about it, but
Okay, you don't want to
but-
talk about it now. Okay.
yeah,
sorry.
we,
I thought
we'll
that
talk
you
about it
wanted.
in a
Okay,
sec.
cool.
For
Okay.
to round up this APAC South discussion, I actually segue really nicely into an EU discussion. We're doing EU first today, because of the segue. I think at this point, David, is it like safe to say unequivocally, no matter what, no matter where, super teams don't work? We've seen it with G2 once, we've seen it with Vitality once, we've seen it with G2 again, or rather we're seeing it with G2 again, and we're seeing it with Invictus Gaming right now in APAC as well. Invictus are the only ones who tried it outside of EU. It is not working, guys. It's like,
No.
for whatever reason, it is just not working out. Invictus Gaming this week, 8-6 loss to Chiefs, and they were 6-3 down at one point to Chiefs, who have not gotten a win in the season so far, except for this IG win that they got just yesterday.
Yeah.
Shocker of a performance. There's jokes like oh, cover your planter challenge, very hard, impossible. That's what IG seems to be like kind of doing. They 3 rounds they lost, not being able to cover their planter. Is like a fundamental set of mistakes that the sloppiness that we've talked about from stage 1, we are talking about from week 1 of stage 2, and we have talked about for G2 as well. How G2, it looks like there are a bunch of players who just kind of forgetting basic shit.
It's tough. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what's happening in IG, because they have the pieces, they have the experience, they have the talent. It's a roster that should work, but it's not working. It's incredible to see a team of its caliber going to 4 overtimes. They have
And losing
they
3.
have gone for overtime 4 times. They have lost 3 of these overtimes. It's incredible. It's just like there's like a point that you expect them to play like this, but at the same time you just don't understand how a team can be so sloppy. It's just difficult to understand what's happening behind. And in this week's loss, Bouncing Balls had a really good game.
Excellent.
A really good game.
Nothing to take away from Chiefs, by the way, but there were so many rounds that IG just straight up gifted. There was that one clutch that the Jaeger got. He went into split and he just shot the player in inside of the meeting hall, right on backstage. He was just planting out in the goddamn open, it was 1 second left. They had a man count advantage, IG, and the guy just rotates around. They don't cover him. They're chasing the kill. Yeah, IG had a 2v5, and that is, I think, something I was talking to David, and that's, I think, the frustration with these super teams, not just IG but also with G2, is because when you see these guys play together, when you see these guys really flex their muscles, it looks glorious. That 2v5, the way Hysterics got those 2 kills against the Osa and the Finka, oh my god, that actually shook me, because that should not have been won, and that is the kind of talent you expect, and that's the kind of reason why these super teams are formed, because these players are capable of it. But for some reason, when in all of this heroism and just this reputation they just kind of lose sight of their fundamentals, such as protecting the planter, just like not sprinting into random engagements, not panicking in your gunfights, not like walking into like pre-fires. Like there's so many times I've seen like IG just like kind of swing, like the enemy just holds down mouse 1 and IG player peeks in, peeks out, and then peeks in again. I'm like, why would you peek in again? It's the same with G2. Exactly the same thing with G2. Like some of these clutches are beautiful. Like Doki plays so well sometimes, out of his mind. Citizen plays so well. Same thing in like IG. You know, all of these guys can do so much. Nate's clutches in stage 1 especially, he got like a 1v4 ace clutch. Nuts. He is incredible. All these players are incredible, but putting it together as a team, what's going on? And as for IGL, I think it's Mentalist on IG. Sorry.
On IG, Mentalist, maybe.
I think
maybe.
so. Yeah.
Could be. Yeah, it's difficult to understand. I really have no. Just complicated, but IG is going to face Fury and Direwolves, so
Fury
they
played
can
well
actually
this week.
still. Yeah, they played well and they actually won against the Knights. So
Yeah.
regulation. Regulation victory. And on Bila, and they actually had a really good attacking half.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think they are going to go to overtime again. But yeah. I don't know. I think that IG has plenty of room of improvement, and they have many things to work on. So I think that they can get better, but we'll see what happens in the end of the stage. We could see Elevate securing a Berlin spot next week. And depending on results, I guess that Gaming Gladiators could as well. But
yeah,
we'll
I mean, things swung back in Gaming Gladiators' favor this week pretty hard because Direwolves lost and Knights lost. Obviously, Direwolves lost to Gaming Gladiators specifically, and of course, IG was being IG, and just were not present for so many attacking rounds against Chiefs. Otherwise, like the IG problem is baffling. I don't think like it's an issue of egos. I don't think it's an issue of individual skill. I think there's just people getting ahead of themselves. And we talked to Hysterics when this roster was formed, and he was kind of like, we're still working on cleaning up comms because people are so enthusiastic. Everyone is comming. They don't have a fixed IGL kind of thing. If it is, it's kind of mentalist. This whole thing, they identified the issues that could surface, but it looks like almost 2 stages in, it's not working. And yeah, like what Kenneth is saying in chat. Do you guys think the reason why super teams don't work is because they may have too many egos, cocky players like G2? It might be against the IGL, potentially. I don't think IG has egos though, which is why there was kind of hope for IG, right? Like you'd think like Hysteric and Speakeasy and Mentalist are senior figures in the scene and in the team. Jigsaw and Nate. Jigsaw is a debutant at this level. Nate's coming in from a relegation tier level team to a team that really, they said, is meant to be challenging for championships, or like getting to international stages first and then challenging for championships. So it feels like there shouldn't be clashes in philosophy. They might be happening. I haven't really spoken to the IG players about what the hell is going on. Maybe the strats are bad, right? Like, maybe they're just not using the team's strengths to full effect. Just too many cooks spoiling the broth. I don't know. For G2, it looks like it's ego, but that's, again, also speculation. Because I heard from, like, G2 players, from Virtue at Charlotte, that they like each other a lot, that they're having a good time, the vibes are good. So I don't know. Like David, you watched Eminem versus G2 this week live, and let's kind of jump straight into you with this. What happened? It was a 7-4 victory for Eminem. Was it the same thing, like citizen baiting, or like Alamau's doing his own thing? Doki is like on an island fighting alone against like 5 players.
There was a lack of coordination, maybe. G2 had a really bad time at like support tasks and everything. We saw a very good Beer2 and a very good Doki, I think. Citizen was a bit... he was not there, and that's not the right word, but I mean, he was not playing like as usual. And I remember Alemão and Prano having a really bad game. Prano started the game really well with a clutch on round 3. But it was M&M dominating the game for almost the entire match. Solotov performance was really strong. He's a beast. He has been having a really good stage. But what I'm meaning here is that I think that G2 here is like maybe just a lack of belief, because they are not going to be in Berlin. Like, that's almost like safe to say.
I'm actually surprised, given how bad they've been playing, that it's not mathematically confirmed.
Yeah,
yet.
I know.
It feels like it should be, because they've been playing so bad.
I think that they maybe have realized that something is not working, and they started playing to understand what's going on instead of playing to like win. So I think that maybe they are just trying to figure out what's happening, fix the mistakes, and get ready for stage 3 instead of let's go and win. This is not done yet, let's go for Berlin. Thinking that G2 can make it to Berlin, it's a bit delusional right now, considering
mathematically
Wolves stand in the standings is
I know we're like being
almost done.
Sarcastic, but like NIP made it.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, shut up. But come on, you cannot.
No,
are you saying that G2 are going to magically revive? And
looking at it with your eyes, using the eye test. No, it doesn't look like it's possible.
It's mathematically possible. It can happen. Yes, it can happen. Remember, UL is just halfway through. There are 4 matches left. It can happen. Will it happen? I don't know. G2 is playing Pounds, is playing Outsiders. They are playing Secret, and they are playing Heroic at the end of the stage, the game. If they win all of those 3 games, which is very possible, like Pounds, Outsiders, and Secret, they should win these games. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe they go to the last day of competition with a chance against top 4 contender like Heroic. Maybe it happens. But looking at the play style, G2, like the pieces are not together. Like, you can see that it's like they are not. Maybe it's communication. Maybe it's, I don't know, a lack of, everyone is like playing more like a little bit more like by themselves, or I don't know. The team doesn't feel like together. There are so many mistakes. It looks like communication mainly, or strats even. Shaz is leaving on August. That maybe was a decision, because maybe, I mean, you cannot get rid of Alemão, or you cannot get rid of Beer2 halfway through the
Virtue's
season. Okay,
playing
that's not
excellently this season. Yeah, right.
I'm just talking about the player from abroad, because you cannot do that. Like, it's impossible. But the thing is that G2 has been spending a lot of money, and that's not the performance that you want. Especially when you're talking about your major, because this was G2's major. This is Berlin. This is their home. So it's not a good performance, obviously, and maybe they are already focusing on stage 3 and trying to perform to improve. Against M&M, they looked the same as the first 3 play days, and I'm sure they are going to improve throughout the stage. I think that they are already thinking of stage 3. That's my personal opinion.
Potentially. Yeah. Okay, Nesball in chat is actually... he's so accurate. Like, there's so many rounds where Citizens, like, last alive and he's, like, nading people below with, like, no info. And I'm like... Like, what? Are you trying to, like, get sound call info? Or like, what?
That's not
like,
good.
It's really weird. Bit of ego, potentially, with G2. I don't know how serious the jokes that we talked about, like Doki saying I got my kill, the whole thing with Fresh, all that stuff. I don't know whether Prano's not able to rein in like people's enthusiasm. Let's put it as nicely as possible. Let's pretend like I'm not saying we know one way or the other because we're not in the team, but like let's assume the best of G2, right? And try to figure out what the hell is going wrong. It feels like, you have people just getting enthusiastic and like, no, I know this thing can work, I know this plan will work, like, I can do this, I'm gonna do, like, the hero play, like, it's kind of machismo that's in all these players because they're part of a super team, right? And kind of like the same thing with IG, like, they're part of a super team. All of us are excellent players. We are some of the best individual players in the league. So what do individual players do? They are kind of comfortable in like the 1v3, in like the 2v5. They're kind of comfortable in these positions. They're like, because that's when they excel and that's where their hero status, their myth kind of develops. That's my theory on like why I think like these guys are just seemingly doing their own thing, seemingly last alive, seemingly not following instructions, being sloppy, not covering the planter, etc, etc, etc. All these fundamentals that you see other teams nailing from the start. Like someone mentioned W7M in chat just now. Why is W7M able to do all of this stuff? And like, why is W7M able to be first in the BR6 or like second in the BR6, go to the majors, etc, etc, etc? Why is Heroic able to do it? Because all these teams are doing the fundamentals, which is because I think pound for pound they have worse players. On paper they have worse players, which translates, I think, to a better team because people aren't overconfident, maybe, in like their own skills, not because they think that I'm better than my teammate. They just think that I can do this. It's like, it is ego in a form, but it's not like the ego that a lot of people think is going on.
Synergy is very important. And I don't know who mentioned W7M, but W7M is like the perfect example. And Team 1 back in the day, it was like a really good example as well. You don't need super names in your roster. You need players that work perfectly together, that fit, and maybe that G2 doesn't have that. We have to think about the possibility of it's not working out. But
it might work out some like a few weeks down the line, right? We might look stupid talking about G2 this way or talking about IG this way once both of these guys qualify to Berlin somehow. Like, just like we look stupid for like saying the NIP is probably out of it. Maybe that's the case. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's gonna change. But like, looking at it, there's no sign that it's gonna change. That is the issue. Like, we can only operate on what we see, what we have seen so far. And while it's possible, and while it's so lovely to like see these Siege experts get it wrong, and I'm not saying people like criticize us for
the magic of giving an opinion is that teams can prove you wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I love when someone proves me wrong. In fact, when Ninjas qualified, the first thing I did was messaging Bob and telling him, "Fog, you have like proved me wrong," because that was a really good comeback. That was a really good comeback, and I love what that happens because you realize that Siege has this magic that teams can also qualify. I'm sure that many of, not just me, not just Yushikar, or many of our viewers right now thought that Team 1 was dead back in the day in August when they were like, I don't know, 4th in the group stage, and magically they forced the first and only so far tiebreaker game in an international competition in Siege, and what happened next? They won the major, and this is what happens. And yeah, I mean, I love when that happens, and I hope that G2 proves us wrong. But right now, for what we have seen, there's no way to. You cannot think that this G2 esports is international material. No way. And if you think that, you are a G2 fan that only, that only thinks about the Six Invitational 2018 and the Euro. No, that's not the mentality. No, that's I don't like that.
And as for Nezwal's comment on like why would we put IG in the same pedestal as G2, well, obviously is not the exact same pedestal, but we are gonna put them like relative to like where G2 is in EU, or where G2 thinks where the players are in terms of the other players in EU. That's the same place where like IG's players are relative to the rest of the field in like APAC South, or even like in like APAC. We know the heights that Speakeasy and Hysterics can achieve. These guys were destroying APAC for so long. We know how good they can be. We know, how good Mentalist can be. He slotted into Fnatic after the ESL Pro League Season 10, and these guys made it to main stage after that roster change. Fnatic, before SI21, never missed a main stage appearance at SI. And Mentalist kept that streak up, and he was one of the very excellent players in both the Airwolf Season 10 run and Fnatic's SI 2020 run.
Yes.
So we know that. We know Jigsaw is one of the hottest, or like was one of the hottest prospects, and he is backing that up. Honestly speaking, I'm pretty sure if you look at the Apex South stats, Jigsaw is like up there. Yeah, he's the second highest rated player in Apex South. So like Jigsaw matches up. Nate in stage 1 and even on order, he has shown us that, look, you give him a situation to shine in, and he will absolutely shine, and he'll play his support roles when he's not required to like do some hero plays. So yes, IG, you look at that roster that they've assembled, and you put them on the same level. Like IG to the rest of Apex South is the same as G2 to the rest of EU, where we expect them to be based on the players they have. And like these super teams that both these organizations have had, each time doesn't work. Vitali learned quick, moved on from that. Wolves right now, not a super team by any stretch of the imagination, but they are flawless in the EUL right now. And I think maybe it's maybe it's a little bit of a time to I guess talk about the other teams. Wolves, there's nothing much more to say other than what I've said. Like they're flying under the radar because they don't have on paper experience, and they are flawless so far. They're continuing that. The next thing I really want to talk about is Secret. Also, by the way, everyone, if you saw David's key takeaways article, his headline was absolutely genius.
I know.
Secret with a savage victory against savage
performance by Secret in a heroic victory.
Yeah, it was like
amazing.
The level of puns, double pun, I love it. And yeah, like huge upset from Secret, and a huge performance from Savage, and they take down this week Heroic in overtime.
Yes.
Talk
and it
to
could
me
have been a
about it.
regulation victory, honestly.
Yeah,
like
it
Heroic
could have been. Yeah, I was watching. Yeah.
Yeah, Heroic is right now top 4, but they could be like 7th now. Because against M&M last week, they forced the overtime on Theme Park, and they won thanks to a clutch by someone that I don't remember now. And that almost happens again. They were like 2 rounds behind Secret, and then they forced the overtime like miraculously. It was something, I don't know. I think that Secret through there, but well, they at least got 2 points in first victory of the stage. It's like their first victory in 10 games.
Yeah.
That's
what
insane.
the EU just
Yeah,
was
not
like
not
talking
the
about as
yeah,
well,
not the best. Yeah. It was a really good performance, honestly. Like, yeah. Savage had a really good game. Keenan had a really good game as well. Both combined, they got 7 entry kills. That makes a huge difference. Honestly, Saves had a good game as well. But I think I don't like Saves in this roster. Honestly, like, he's a good player. He's good, yes, but I prefer teams picking up players from regional leagues than players that have been already in the
Saves.
circuit.
Sorry, it's not Saves.
Yeah.
Savage.
No, I'm speaking about Saves, the
Yeah, no,
Polish.
I'm saying like
player.
the new players, like
Yeah,
Savage.
but Savage, but they signed Secret signed Savage and Saves
Yeah.
at the end at this. Okay, yeah.
But like,
So,
like they
that's-
have like kind of the idea is what I'm kind of trying to get at. Like, yes, they signed
okay.
Savage, but then they also signed Saves. So like,
Yeah. So what I say is that I prefer signing like these young players from regional leagues than signing, players that have already played in the competition for other teams. I think that Saves stopped playing for Navi, and then he was like 1 stage without playing, and then he signed for Secret. I'm not sure if I'm wrong now. I think I'm not.
yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. He didn't play for he didn't. So yeah, he left Navi after the 6 Invitational, and then he missed the first stage.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something I don't like, picking up players that have. Yeah, I just prefer like these kind of teams to sign rookies, debutants, which is pressure for them. Yeah, for sure. It's something like maybe you cannot rely on these players when you are fighting to avoid relegation, but at the same time you have a lot, like you can win lots of things, and Savage is a perfect example. I think that Savage is going to have a good stage and a good third stage. He's still adapting to the team. He's still adapting to the top flight, and who knows how well is he going to do. We will see. But yeah, this is. I don't know if you have something else to add of the game.
No, nothing with that one. I mean, I guess just the final question for Secret, and we obviously can't answer that, but like we can leave it up to you guys. It's like there might be some life in this roster. There might not be. After all, this is the first stage after they made the changes. Maybe it's teething problems. Maybe they kick on. I don't think it's actually gonna happen. But they made like 3 changes. Like they brought in Savage, Saves, and the mental coach Silence. So perhaps they kick on. I'm not gonna hold my breath, but like
I mean, Silence has been in the team for a long while now.
Has he?
I think that I think that
only at
he's
stage 2.
I think that he joined stage 1.
Oh, you're right. 2021. You're right.
Or even sooner. Yeah.
2021
he was part of the
old
of the
one,
team
yeah.
when they played the relegation match against
Yes.
Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Maybe
So,
he made a great difference, because Secret were 0-2 down against Hellraisers, like in terms of
True,
maps, and then
yeah.
they won 3-2. But well, Secret is facing Wolves next week. They are also facing Pounds, which is like realistically the only game they should win. They also facing G2, and they are also facing BDS. Difficult schedule, honestly. They are not going to be in Berlin, like no way. Yeah, I'm pretty confident right now.
So yeah,
It's not an IP case.
So that's that. Next thing, BDS. Are we going to see BDS miss out on
I
think the first ever international LAN since they became a team?
It could happen.
They've attended every single LAN.
Yeah.
According to I think Haler's article.
Kaider, yeah, wrote something. Yeah.
Could they
I
miss
think
out?
they
Shaiko had a
could miss
really
out.
horrendous game this week. Like
Yes.
he was the worst rated player on BDS, wasn't he,
Shaiko.
against Navi?
Shaiko. Yep. I think that BDS has relied a lot on Shaiko recently, especially on stage 2. Individually, Team BDS is like one of the best in the scene. Like Bride is just, Goga is not here, so I'm gonna say it. Bride is like the best support in Europe, maybe. I mean, Goga has the titles,
Should
but
be.
Bride,
He should be.
yeah. And then you also have Shaiko, Rafal. Like it's a strong team, obviously. It's not working now. And BDS has a complicated schedule because they still have to play against Rogue. They have to play against Wolves. M&M are looking like really good. So like the schedule is complicated, and they have a realistic shot at missing this like Berlin major. I think that BDS, it's the time for them to make some kind of changes. But yeah, we will see what happens. Honestly, not to, like the loss against Navi. Navi played a really good game. I cannot believe they actually went
Navi
to
is
12
so
rounds.
hot and cold. One time they look so good, and
Navi
after that they
is
look
so
bad.
inconsistent.
Yeah,
It's,
so hot and
it's
cold.
one of yeah exactly. It's so inconsistent. Like it's it's really hard to tell because one day they give you like the performance of the year, the following day they struggle a lot. It's
Exactly.
just so hard to tell how are they going to play. Talking about schedule, Navi has like the most difficult schedule by any team. They are facing
M&M,
M&M, they are facing
Wolves,
Wolves,
Heroic.
they are facing Heroic, they are facing Rogue.
Well, good.
Yeah, but now I'm seeing these schedules from other teams, BDS and Navi, Heroic at the same time. They are facing Rogue, Navi, and G2. G2 might have a shot at Berlin.
Yeah, I told you that's not impossible. But like looking at the eye test,
Not
looking
impossible.
looking at the eye
I'm going
test,
to say
it's so
something. I'm going to
frustrating.
say something. Yeah, I'm going to say something. Actually, NIP qualified, so I'm going to say BDS is like the best team in the world. I love France. They are going to qualify. G2, they are not going to qualify. It's impossible. Okay. So if for NIP worked, let's see. Let's see.
Well, we'll see what goes on.
Yeah.
Before we move on from BDS and the EU, we're just very quickly gonna just mention the EUCL. So what happened in EUCL? If you guys missed out, we talked about EUCL starting last Friday, just after the show ended. And everyone, there was a one team, and usually we don't talk about Challenger League here, but like there's one particular team that everyone is very excited about. You probably know, E+4, aka Empire +4, right? I think whatever. E+4, the former Team Empire squad, with Karzeka obviously on board. They made it through the best of 1 games in the first Challenger League qualifier, and then they got destroyed by 3-1 Sked.
By Viperio. Yep.
3-1 Sked. No? I'm pretty sure it's 3-1 Sked.
I think it was Viperio. Oh no, wait. Actually,
3-1.
I'm looking at the Sked. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not pretty. 2-0 Chalet Oregon. So yeah, quick update on that. That's where Empire Joystick went 0-8 on the first map of Chalet.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah. There are some teams. I guess that you are excited about Jesse Lingard esports.
Oh god, he's not even in Manchester United play anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, he left. Okay. Well, I just want to joke. Yeah. And while they are playing again there as well, Viperio won the qualifiers. Viperio has Hungary in the roster and Vitaline and Astro. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. But yeah, we're talking about how G2 can still mathematically make it. Well, here's who mathematically did make it after being on the verge of elimination, like well into like the start of the season, well late into the season. NI freaking P, 6% chance of qualifying in 9th place before a super week, aka before during last week's SiegeGG live episode. Alright, Playday 6, they were with 6 points, second from the bottom in the BR6. Playday 9 afterwards, 15 points, 4th place, going to Copa Elite 6. David, what the hell happened with NIP? We wrote this team off earlier. What changed?
Honestly, NIP have looked very good this weekend. Very good this weekend. I also have to say that NIP have faced One and Black Dragons, two teams that have struggled a lot at the end of the stage. BD has gone winless for the last 5 play days, and One's only victory was against BD in the final play day of the stage. So they had really good starts, but they couldn't just like keep up with the momentum, and they both missed out on Berlin. And that momentum like gave other teams the chance to overtake them in the standings, and one of them was NIP. Once we like NIP, that's not just like the reason why NIP qualified. NIP has improved. NIP has been really good at the end of the stage. Pino had, I think it was Pino, I don't have the numbers here, but I think Pino had a really good end to the stage with the entry kills. He was really important. And yeah, they climbed from 9th to 4th, which is obviously enough to qualify for Copa Elite 6. Remember, Copa Elite 6, not the Berlin Major. They are not qualified, not yet. But yes, exactly. I have it here, and 24 entry kills is insane. And NIP is a team that struggled a lot at getting entry kills last stage, which was differential. And they have solved the issues. Wizard has adapted pretty well and
he
quickly.
looks good. Yeah, I think from the start we were saying Wizard is a bright spot on NIP.
Yep. He has been doing really good his job. And if you had to complain about a player, maybe it's Kamikaze, but NIP got the job done. NIP qualified for Copa Elite 6, and they have the chance to qualify for Berlin. So, I think that, yeah, they have improved, but we will see how the team plays in the Copa Elite 6. I want to talk about another thing. I'm not sure if you want to say something about NIP.
I mean,
okay,
I think the only thing that we really want to talk about with NIP is, as ThunderZero literally stole the words out of my mouth in chat. Psycho said that the switch to Kamikaze becoming the IGL really helped NIP kick on, because we saw NIP push FaZe to maximum overtime. We saw NIP win against INTZ, although NIP was in maximum overtime. NIP beat 00 Nation as well. So kind of like that switch that kind of happened. Even though NIP were in 9th, they weren't that far off, and with Kamikaze IGLing, it really got them over the line. And I think the biggest victory for them was against Team 1, who ended up being their direct rivals for the top 4 spot.
That's a good point. Like Kamikaze getting like the IGL responsibilities. Something very similar happened with FaZe. Astro got these responsibilities, and FaZe qualified. So changing IGL mid-stage is always a risky decision, but it actually paid off for both teams. Kamikaze did.
Is
good job.
Yeah, that mid-game risk is very real because the team that did miss out, sorry, a team that did miss out, and the team that we never expected to miss out, Team Liquid. They made significant changes at the start of the stage, and then they said they were reverting those changes, and they kind of looked like they were growing back into the game. But it looks like it was too little, too late. Palu and Nesk started fragging again, but the losses that they had to BD and INTZ just were too much for them to overcome.
Yeah. Honestly, have to say, Liquid looked way better than FaZe Clan in the final game. Way better. But they just couldn't close the attacks. Like, it was stressful to watch because you could see that they were doing like the things properly. They were getting the entry kill. They were but they spent so much time at cleaning the rest of players, and they always made the last push with just 10 seconds, 15 seconds, that it was easy for FaZe to like stop Liquid. And I remember Soul's clutch. That was insane in Throne. That gave FaZe Clan the match point, and it forced Liquid to win all the rounds to qualify, and that was not possible. But Liquid had a really, really strong game. I think that they improved like a lot, but it was not enough. And it's sad to see Liquid missing out because Liquid is possibly one of the strongest teams in the region, and I'm sure we're going to see them back next stage because now they are going to have an extra few weeks to realize what happened and use Copa do Brasil as get used to like new AGL or whatever they are going to think about now, and we will see them really strong next stage. I'm sure that they're going to improve, and yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah, and well, then we have W7M at the top of the standings, looking at the chaos from there. But
again,
yeah,
right? They were first in stage 1 as well in the BR6, right?
Yeah, 24 points.
By 5 points in stage 1, and by 7 points in stage 2. So
it's insane. If you look at the overall round. If you look at the overall round difference, it's insane, the difference between W7M and the rest of teams. The two best stages have been done by W7M. W7M with 24 points stage 1, W7M with 22 points. Like, historically, W7M has played the best two stages, which says a lot. And if they actually qualify for Berlin, I hope there are no visa issues.
Well, I hope they qualify for Berlin because I really want to see what W7M can do with everyone inside of the arena.
And get ready, because if they qualify, oh my God, that's going to be. I know for a fact that the players want to like tell the people that they underperform in Charlotte because the internet or the ping issues, whatever.
I mean, they got really salty in Charlotte on Twitter, like extremely whiny.
And they have a reason. Like, imagine playing such an important tournament from another country with a different ping.
I mean, I would be so mad. Familiar with ping issues over here.
Yeah, and other people telling me that you should be thankful that you are playing. You are not like Elevate who had to stay home. I just don't care. I don't care if they are.
It's better. I mean,
obviously, it's better than nothing. Yeah, sure.
But it's not great.
But I am not playing under the same circumstances than you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fair. it's better, I guess. Yeah, Team 1 actually qualified for the quarterfinals. They got more SI points. Good. Yes, that's better than Elevate, who couldn't opt for more points. Yes. And I remember interviewing Oxygen during the Charlotte Major, and they were like, it's a shame because Elevate were we considered Elevate as the only team to actually, present a threat to us. But these teams playing from another country with those circumstances, you have to feel bad for them. It is what it is. Yes, but obviously they want to prove themselves, and Team 1 wanted to, I'm sure. And now at least WSNM and Furia have the chance to do so if they actually qualify. We will see.
Yeah, we'll see basically what happens over there, and I think that's pretty much it for BR6.
Yeah,
we will have a Copa Elite 6 preview, but because the Copa Elite 6 starts on the 23rd, that means there will be another show next week, and we'll discuss the Copa Elite 6 next week. Because if we discuss it today, we'll have like nothing to talk about for
I just want to say
next week.
I just want to say something very quick.
Yep.
Don't expect South American or Mexican teams to upset Brazilian teams.
Yeah. Don't expect it, but hopefully it happens. We'll see.
It's a best of 3. They have to win a best of 3 against a Brazilian team.
Yeah.
That's very difficult.
Tough.
Yeah.
So, now, the final region that we haven't talked about, and that we had so much drama, arguably the closest region in Rainbow Six, and arguably the strongest region in Rainbow Six, NA. So, NA over here, well, let's start with the big one. Dark Zero will not be defending their title in Berlin. And it looks like someone, because of how close it was, it looks like someone in NA just had to miss out. And in this case, it ended up being Dark Zero. It's just like BR6, like Liquid missed out by a hair. For Dark Zero, it seems like SSG, like losing to SSG, I think they lost like 7-3. They got destroyed by SSG. I think that really just was like the death knell. Because the other matches that they lost were like...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, right? Like, I mean, yeah, they were close games, good games.
Yeah. I remember the times where NIA had top 4, a very defined top 4, where it was like Sonics, DZ. No, Sonics, no, it was DZ, Space Station Gaming, and two more that I cannot recall that.
Oxygen.
SSG, DZ, Oxygen, and it was not Exit. It was,
no,
I guess it was Sonics.
Yeah, must have been Sonics last year because they were top 4 every single stage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now it's not a thing anymore because you have Stralis who have improved a lot. You also have Exit, like the Brazilian combination. Yeah, works. And Parabellum and Viscos are shining like sometimes, like some games, and it's just insane to think how tight this competition is, because after 9 play days, the difference between the first and the 9th, and it's just 4 points. That's crazy. And yeah, obviously, as you said, someone had to miss out on Berlin, and sadly, it's Dark Zero. I like this, and I don't like this at the same time. I don't like this because I think that the previous champion has a right to defend the title, and not seeing them in the competition is going to be, bad.
A detriment,
But at the same time, people in Berlin are not going to shout, "Let's go DZ," and that's going to be something that my ears are going to
they're gonna say,
like,
"Let's go Astralis."
Yes, you cannot say that, but DZ, let's go DZ. Oh my God! Like,
no, they actually said
chant.
it in Charlotte. They were like, "Let's go Astralis," and I'm like, just stop. Right?
That's the worst chant. Like, let's go, and the name. That's the worst chant, and that's a very American chant.
It's literally primary school shit like that we have.
Yeah.
Please,
it's in Europe.
Right. Anyway.
Please, it's in Europe. Come on.
DZ?
Bayern Munchen fans, go to the state there and just shout whatever you shout in the Allianz Arena. or I don't know, just go there and just say
Yeah.
whatever you want. But
No,
yeah,
but back
talking
to-
about NA.
Back to DZ, like, just, I don't know, man, like, they started off so well in the season, like, extremely well. They came in, they 7-1, who was it, 7-2 Beast Coast.
East Coast.
And Beast Coast ended up being a very good team as well. Let me
Yeah.
just remind you, they destroyed them. Then after that, the next playdate, literally the next day, they get smacked 7-2 by SSG, and essentially after that they get hit 7-3 by Sonics. Okay, but Sonics were like back to form. Sonics made it to Berlin at the end of the day, so that loss is a little bit less heartbreaking when you realize they lost to like a top 4 team in that situation. Then after that, they lost to Astralis. Okay, it was a close loss, not too bad. So on and so forth. Lost to Oxygen, another top 4 team. Not too bad. But like, obviously the losses added up. But the one that you would look at and it would like really hurt is they lost to SSG, the second from last team at the end of the league, and they lost in just dismal fashion, absolutely dismal fashion. That's the one. So Dark Zero right on the edge, and obviously that created the controversy about what system should be used for the tiebreakers. And I know someone asked about TSM deboost, and we're going to talk about TSM in a sec, but like the controversy that was created because of Dark Zero's 5th place finish. They won, arguably, more impressively than Exet, because they won 5 games in regulation. Exet won 4, and then we had like Exet win 1 in overtime and lose 1 in overtime, whereas Dark Zero lost 4 straight in overtime, and they won 5 straight in 4 straight in regulation and 5 straight in regulation. Both of them ended up with 15 points, but Exet had a plus 10 round differential, and Dark Zero had a plus 4. Now, David was talking about this, how he prefers head-to-head, but the thing is, if you think about head-to-head, that would essentially make it so, if you use head-to-head as the first tiebreaker, that one best of one defines your stage, or maybe even your SI at the end of the day. Because of this one best of one, you struggled past, for example, you struggled past Mirage something, right? 8-7. Just because you eventually did beat Mirage, it's not like an 8-7 victory is not the same as steamrolling Mirage 7-0. That is the logic when you're using round differential, and when you obviously add this up over an entire stage against 9 different games. That's why you look at Mirage, they have a minus 24 round differential, and you're like, yeah, that team is bad, for example. And you look at like the top 4 teams, 3 of them had plus 10 round differential, you're like, these teams are good. And when you start reducing it to head-to-head, that kind of takes away basically a team pushing as hard as they can to try and get the round differential and really squeeze out the victory. That is the argument for round differential. But the argument against round differential is, I think, quite obvious as well. You start off, for example, on Chalet Attack. That gives you potentially a plus 5 round differential at the end, even if you were the better team. But if you started off on defense, perhaps you only end that game with a plus 2 round differential. So because of the side start, you kind of go from plus 5 or plus 2 or plus 2 to plus 5, etc. That kind of like shakes up that situation. But the counter argument, I guess, I know I'll give you a chance, David. The counter argument to that would be like, because like the way the ban phase works. So like the last team that is banning basically gets to pick between 2 maps, essentially, correct? And then the opposite team, the team that didn't ban last, they get to pick the starting side. So there is an element of fairness already trying to be embedded into that system. Which is why I think, personally, and someone asked this earlier, I think it was Kenneth66, I prefer the round differential system because over a stage, especially in tight leagues and long 10-team leagues like the NAL, round differential is a superior situation to kind of separate the good and the great teams. But David, obviously you feel differently.
I think that maybe I have to spend more time thinking about it, but I feel like head-to-head is the, because you raised a good fair point here. Okay, it's just we're talking of a best of one league. Maybe we should discuss about the possibility of making a best, well, not best of two, but best of three would be a lot. Anyways, the reason why I think that head-to-head is like the best one here is because I think that the second tier rake should be the number of wins you have gotten during the season. Let me explain this. So I think that round differential, if you lose one game by, I don't know, 7-1, just one game, 7-1, let's say that you have a really bad game day, it doesn't work, you have a 7-1 different, you have a less 6 rounds, okay? That makes a huge difference at the end of the year, of the stage, okay? Dark Zero, for example, Parabellum had a +6 because they were getting very narrow scores. But Dark Zero had a 2-7 loss against SSG and a 3-7 loss against against Sonics. Clearly, that didn't go well for them, and that's why they didn't qualify over Exit, because they had those very bad results at the beginning of the stage. Then they started getting good results: 7-3 win against Parabellum, 7-3 against TSM, and another 7-3 loss against Oxygen. They won against Exit and they won against Mirage. I think that maybe as of now, maybe Dark Zero are better than Exit, and seeing Exit qualifying,
Yes,
because DZ had those really bad performances or inconsistency, then it just like makes you doubt about the system. And
yeah, I get that. That absolutely makes sense, right?
Yeah. There's no perfect system. First of all, there's no perfect system. There's always going to be pros and cons. That's something that's gonna happen always. But yeah, I just feel like head-to-head might be better. Round differential is a little bit random for me, because you have especially in such a tight league, you have a really bad week, you have 2 7-2s or losses or whatever, and then that screws you like the whole season. Yeah, that's just my opinion in here.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Yeah, it kind of feels weird and looks weird. Like, yeah, Dark Zero beat Exit, but again, like the whole season longevity thing, or like the stage longevity thing argument is the flip side of that. And that's
you have
pretty
to
much
be
it.
consistent to qualify. Yeah, I get that.
Exactly.
I agree.
And
So
like a team that, like, for example, and like just kind of to really kill this point, it's like if IG, for example, losing 8-7, 8-7, 8-7 made it. Or like winning 8-7, 8-7, 8-7 made it, versus a team that like was like 7-0, 7-0, 7-0 in every single game, except one game they lost 8-7 to IG, and like IG goes through over them. An extreme example, to be sure, but like that would be like, look, IG have looked like shit against half the teams. They just beat this one team one time, and now they're going to like the major, etc. So I guess that would be just the counter argument. But as David said, no perfect system. And speaking of perfect systems or imperfect systems, let's look at a little bit of imperfect teams. TSM and SSG, massive misses. And And it looks like things are changing in SSG. Looking at the Twitter, looks like Skies is gone from SSG. He removed like all mentions of SSG from the bio, and he also tweeted like a GIF or something, or like a picture of the end. TSM, I don't think they're making a change, but they're probably thinking about it at this point, or they're making the ultimatums like, if by stage 3 XX doesn't happen, if we don't qualify and don't qualify well, we'll be making a change because we need to do well at SI. What is like up with these two teams?
Honestly, if what Merck said on Twitter is like the full truth,
Ha!
I don't think they're going to make changes. If they are so confident and to say on social media that the improvement is there and that the team has been playing better and everything, there's no reason to make changes, because you are on the right track. So continue. You are Six Invitational champions. So I mean, why are you going to change if you think that the team has been improving? Yeah, I agree. The team has improved. Comparing to like last stage performance, yeah, great. They had an excuse though. 6 invitational winners. You know, you can chill after that because you win a lot of money, and you know it's like the best competition you can win in Siege. So I understand that, but it's stage 2. It's time to wake up, no? So yeah, if you think that the team is improving and everything, no reason to make changes. And if not, I mean, you have the 6 invitational regional qualifier, just win it again. You know, but I mean, yeah, I just don't think they're gonna make changes.
Just
SSG
kind of,
is quite clear.
Yeah, you just quickly before we like go into like the SSG stuff, TSM. This feral takedown from of TSM of Merc was absolutely hilarious. Like, improved like hell from last stage from 9th to 8th. What an improvement! But like Feral's just dropping gems left and right every single time. Extremely funny. But yeah. So TSM this stage don't really have like an excuse. About like this whole situation. They don't have the excuse of SI fatigue. They can only blame being bad at BO1s for so long. They can only say, oh yeah, I'm actually better at a BO3. Like, okay, sure, if you're better at a BO3, you have to get to the BO3 first. And to get there, you have to play BO1s. So, like, are they gonna be like an SI only team? Like, just open qualifier, like, you know, in other esports, like in Dota, you have like teams that only form for TI, and then after that they do nothing, and then they come back for TI and then they win, for example. No, like, that's not, I think, a viable option in Rainbow Six Siege, because I think even in the qualifiers you have a couple of BO1 games for SI.
Yeah.
So you have to be good at BO1s, and like, what does it speak?
Wait,
to
actually, no. If you are invited to the qualifier, you don't have to like be best of ones are for the open qualifier.
That is correct, but like we'll see what basically shakes out for TSM, but like they need to just figure out, right? They can't hide behind the excuse of we are world champions, we're good at BO3s, we are not good at BO1s. Fix it. And like Snuglords in chat,
if you are
TSM and SSG are
if
stuck
you
in
are
meta.
sorry,
you're saying
if you are 6 invitational champions, you're gonna fix it, right?
Exactly. Right,
you have the power, like you are the champions, like 6 invitational champions. Change it. But yeah, obviously we don't know what's going on in the team. It's very easy to say change it, that's it. But yeah,
it is also a hyper-competitive league.
Go ahead.
It is also obviously a hyper-competitive league where things are really, really close. So yes, it's not like these guys are bad. They're not, like, for example, Mirage. You can look at them and say they're bad because they only have 6 points and they're minus 24 on the round differential. But like TSM, SSG, they are 12 points, which is just 3 points away from 4th place XSET. Although their round differential, there's like a plus 17 delta between them and XSET, because TSM and SSG are minus 7 and XSET are plus 10. So yes, in that case, in that sense, TSM and SSG are pretty bad. Like, they need to kind of just first of all, not lose so heavily when they do lose. And initially, it was really looking the first 4 play days that they were back, and they just absolutely dropped the ball. It became a 7-4, then a 7-3, then they barely scraped by in overtime against the other -7 round differential team. Then they get smashed by PB, destroying their round differential again, and they get smashed by BC 7-4 on that final play day. Not that it would really have made a difference against XSET's +10 round differential that ended up happening. I actually, even had XSET like just gotten like a +2, it probably wouldn't have happened. But like, yeah, they're making fundamental errors, lack of coordination, and it's really weird, David, to segue a little bit, that this is year 7 of Rainbow Six Siege. We are in 2022. We are seeing teams like IGG2, Navi, Secret, and TSM SSG who are making like fundamental errors. Like, you would think as the seasons go on, it becomes not a matter of who's making more fundamental errors, rather a matter of who can like innovate with the next, I don't know, best strat.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that point of view. We saw that with Team 1, I think. I think that Team 1 actually did a really good job. T-Chubbs is an incredible coach. But yeah, there are some like very basic issues that happen to international champions. I always had the theory that winning a lot makes you become like more bored about the game, which changes your side of like your point of view about the game. I remember talking with Dan about this. Dan told me that sometimes players lack motivation when they win like international competitions. Obviously, some players they always want to be on top and everything, but yeah, you have won it almost all. Like, why keep playing? And I don't know. That's a thing to consider. But yeah, obviously these champions, these rosters that have won international championships and everything, should not be making some mistakes. But it happens. I mean, no one's perfect, and yeah, I think that these mistakes are going to prevail, no matter the quality of the roster or whatever they have won in the past, because the meta is always changing. So yeah, there's always something that's going to not work.
Well, I don't know, man. Like, TSM and SSG things need to change, and for SSG it's looking like it's going to be a player change. And sorry, David, to cut you off. And
SSG are going to make a change for sure.
Yeah, and the rumors are, and not specific to SSG, but like the rumors that I've heard, and I don't think this is out yet. So the 22 people who are listening right now, you got something special. The rumors are that Sweater and Gunner are being targeted by some teams. I don't know which team. I don't know whether it's like bigger teams, smaller teams, other teams. Like, obviously it's international teams or not. But the rumor is that Sweater and Gunner are gonna be. They're gonna try and prize them away from Beast Coast and Parabellum for stage 3. And if you think about it, if you look at like the role issues that we have seen SSG have, a couple of people have been like talking about it on Reddit and stuff. It feels weird to see Faults playing on the Finca on like this entry when he is traditionally, especially during the SI run, he's been a soft breach player, right, David?
Yeah.
And
he mained back.
Yeah. So that kind of shook it up a little bit. So Skies, if he does leave, and it's looking like he's leaving based on his Twitter, some fragger comes in on entry, aka potentially Sweater or Gunner, and then Rampy goes back to second entry / soft breach. Hot and Cold goes to the flank watch, Faults goes on to the flex, and Boss goes on to hard breach as he still is. So this is the comment made by Drybit on Reddit regarding the rules. But he was obviously unaware. He was saying Asian or some other insane fragger on entry. And with the rumors that Gunner and Sweater, I keep on messing the S's on BC, sorry. Gunner and Sweater are being targeted. Maybe SSG is looking at one of them, maybe SSG is looking at both of them. We don't know for sure. And of course, we're going to try and report this as you know, we get more information as the story develops. But like, this is like the early stage, because while like all the other leagues are going on, NL is done for stage 2. So Dark Zero down to Mirage, all these teams who missed out, well, now they have time to look at their rosters and think about if they want to have roster changes. And it looks like SSG are already thinking about it. So yeah, very quickly, let's just kind of wrap this up. I don't think we're going to play like the stats game today. It's run quite a bit long because so much has happened.
Yes.
Really a lot has happened. We're just quickly going to wrap this up. And Astralis, what can you say? Just like W7M, top of the league again. Remarkable consistency from both these guys. Obviously, W7M is arguably a little bit more impressive because they're doing it by massive margins. But Astralis is also extremely impressive because they came back from a very tough and very deep run in Charlotte, where we have seen teams, you know, like DZ are not going to the next major. We have seen TSM after SI miss out on Charlotte. We saw FaZe miss out after Sweden on Charlotte. A lot of these teams don't always go back to the major, basically after making deep runs. Sonics as well, after SI didn't make it Charlotte. Astralis went to the grand final, went to map 5 of the grand final, came back and topped NAL again. David, I don't know about you, but that makes, for me, Astralis the favourites for Berlin.
No way.
No? Come on, they're
No
grand
way.
finalists in Charlotte.
I know. No way. No way. I just don't think. I've always been like a guy who just don't. I've never root for NA. Okay, I don't like NA. I like the region. Yes, I like the region, and I like the teams, and I like the players. Yes, but as an European, I cannot support NA. You know, it's like in my DNA. I'm from Barcelona. I cannot support French teams as well. So yes, there are some things that I have to, you know. But jokes aside, I just don't think that Astralis is a very consistent team. They have shown it in the league. Some kind of Sonics, like last year, Sonics were in every top 4 in every stage. I think that's gonna happen something very similar with Astralis. They have already qualified for 2 majors, and after not qualifying for anyone, remember with Disrupt, remember with Astralis, the first stage, I think it was stage 3 from last year. They never got to the top 4, and now they finally have not just 1 but 2 times, which is very impressive, and yeah, that's really good. And obviously in a league that it's so close, that's impressive. Yes, I just don't think the team can replicate what they did in Charlotte. With Brazilian teams again, I guess that they are not going to have visa issues. Fingers crossed. But
Yeah, no, I
think
don't
that
think so.
against Brazilian teams, with everyone there, I'm just not confident of such a deep run. I think that they are going to make it through the group stage. I think that they can have a really good performance in the the group, the bracket, but I just cannot see them qualifying again for another final. Like historically, even no team has qualified for 2 grand finals in a row. So I just don't have the feeling that Astralis can qualify again for another grand final in a row. Well, back to back.
Yeah.
Can they? Yes, of course. The level is there. The players are there. can happen, sure. But I just don't think it's gonna happen. Also, we also have to talk about NA having 5 weeks of preparation before the Berlin Major, which can also affect that. They can prepare other stuff. So maybe they do and maybe they win it, okay? Can happen. We have seen weirder things like NIP qualifying for Copa Elite 6. So yes, it can happen. Yes. Do I think it's gonna happen? I just don't think so.
Wow. We'll see. My favorites. I'm gonna back the region that has won the past two situations. It's looking like NA is doing what LATAM or like Brazil did last year. But I would definitely agree that if any team is gonna stop it, it is looking like it's going to be a Brazilian one. Like hell, it might be NIP. Like the way that they've come back, right?
Who knows? Who knows?
The thing is, if anyone is stopping a North American team, it is going to be a Brazilian one. Like EU's not in the conversation. Apex definitely not in the conversation. But here's where we are. And just very quickly, Sonics as well. You know how we talked about changes coming up for SSG. Well, it looks like no changes for Sonics are coming up just yet. Super said they would make a change if they didn't make it to the major. Well, they made it to a major, and they made it to the Berlin Major. We'll see how far they can go. Most consistent team of 2021, top 6 at SI 2022. Sonics, we obviously have reset the clock on like the progress that they were making, the steady progress that they made in 2021. So we will have to see from the early games what they're going to look like in Berlin, and I think that's going to apply to every single NA team because we have a month, like a literal month from today until the major. Other leagues are still going on. NAL's not going on. NAL's done. NAL's relaxing. NAL's scrimming. NAL's focusing. NAL's not showing anything. NAL has a huge advantage over here. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what kind of the NA teams turn up, what kind of the BR6 teams turn up. But it's time for us to tune out from your screens. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We had a very nice, steady audience today. Very nice chat involvement as well. Excellent stuff. Love to see this. We're not going to play the stats game because this has already gone on for like a lot longer than we both expected, I think, David. But there were so many things to talk about. Exciting things, BR things, NA things, APAC things. Thank you very much for tuning in. I've been Shikhar Gupta. And that it's been David with me. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you next week, same time, right here on SiegeGG TV. Ciao.